Hi, and welcome back to my channel, where I'm going to be rebuilding my duplicator Wanhao i3 using the ReDuplicator plans from GitHub and Thingiverse. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the tools you see behind me, which some of them are common for 3D printing, some of them are less common, and a few special techniques that we need to master in order to build the ReDuplicator. So let's get started. As standard 3D printer stuff goes, flush cutters, deburring tool, and files will go a long way. I cleaned up most of the parts that I saw fit, but depending on what's a fit and finish is required, we'll go over those in due time. Now, one of the first tools I'll be using are different types of squares, and this is to shore up and straighten out the right angles. This is an inside square, an outside square. Get it from any low-cost hardware store. I got these from Harbor Freight, and we'll be using them like this. The other pretty standard tool is just a bunch of different small hex screws and of various sizes. I like this particular one because it pops up. Neat, huh? And because some of these parts are very close in size, I always have a good ruler with metric on the end, so I know which bar is which. And let's see what else. Oh, those are the basics. But what's unique about this design is wherever there is a small hole, not this part, that's going to have a lot of tension on it, torque, the creator recommends using what are called heat inserts. They're little pieces of brass with no edges, and you literally heat them up and insert into 3D printed parts, and it's better than using a nut. So I've never done that before, and I wanted to make sure I did it right. So first of all, there's a fantastic article on Hackaday by one of the editors, Joshua, about how to actually use heat inserts correctly. And I'll link to it in the description below. The tools for heat inserts are pretty basic. A soldering iron, which you should probably already have. Josh, in his article, strongly recommends a special tip. And it's flat and it's milled such that it fits really nicely in the heat insert, so you can insert it in a straight way. Because I've never done this before, I printed out some of the parts incomplete, so I can practice doing heat insert and get into the feel of the tool and the temperature required for 3D printed materials. And in the article, he talks about using a piece of metal, disperse heat, and I'll show the technique. And I actually use one of my flat scrapers as the heat dissipation tool. So here's my setup for the heat inserts. In the background, you can't see, but my Hakko soldering iron is set to 400 degrees. Here's a blank heat insert. There'll be an overlay of what it looks like closely, but you'll notice the knurls are what helps you grab into the plastic. My blank for testing, and my heat dissipation tool, basically the scraper. And the way you would do this is actually a reused heat insert, but you would take the fancy heat insert end bit thing and just stick it on there. See how it's nice and flat? And wait for it to get a little bit warm, and try your best to go straight down. And at this temperature, it kind of moves PETG pretty quickly, and get to the point where it's about 90% in, and then press flat. You probably can't see it from that angle, but I submerge it just above the ridge, and by pressing it on this flat surface, it'll squish it in nicely, have no excess plastic over the top, and after a few seconds, it's nice and flat, if you can see that. If you do it any other way, then you'll have a nice excess bulge, which you have to shave off. So there you go. That's the heat insert. So here are the Misumi metal extrusions. They are packed amazingly well. Actually, if you want to look over to the right, you can see some of the aftermath of the packaging for the other devices. But just to show you how well they arrived, I'll undo this one box. Sweet. Aluminum frame handled with care. These straps are so thick I gotta use shears just to get them open. Is that in frame? I hope so. Then on the corners they have this thick, hard cardboard. It's almost a shame to get rid of it, but c'est la vie. And from there they have thick packaging tape that's surrounding cardboard. Some more cuts. And bubble wrap and stuffing so it doesn't hit the ends. And some I don't know, some tape on the edge. And that's how they all arrived. I mean, how awesome is that? And there you have it. Those are the basic tools and techniques we'll need to build this ReDuplicator. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you then.